Hey everybody, this is TruePowerIsMine, the host of TPIM Live. This show has been pre-recorded, so let's roll the clip.
In complete agreement with you, and I'm taking another direction, in particular about Tim Wise. The Elvis Presley effect is here. You've been talking about racism before Tim Wise got out there. It's like Dr. Apsecker and all these other people, if you know who I'm talking about. There's always someone white that gets to be the expert on a black matter. Okay. And oftentimes they come back and tell us what we already know. That plays into a sickness that we need to know that they love us or that they care about us. I don't care if you love me, but I do care if you segregate or if I can't piss downtown or I can't park. Those things bother me, but I don't need you to love me. In fact, I don't need most black people to love me, but I need black folks to not work against me for the hell of it. So you're right. But Tim and them, if Tim was really true, I have an associate named William Walker. William Walker was the third or fourth Navy diver. The white gentleman that did not like black men not getting to know how to dive in the Navy risked his career and put his all on making certain that black folks could get to do it if it killed him. Down in Alabama, they have a place called Stillman University. I know you've heard of it. What most people don't know is that Stillman, as a white gentleman, gave all of his money to black people, spent his whole life demanding that white people treat black people better. White folk turned their back on him. He worked himself to death, putting up a seminary. In fact, what a lot of people don't know about Stillman was teaching that the Egyptians and everybody in the Bible was black to black people in the 1870s. And all the white folk hated him. I'm not going to make him a perfect person, but he put his money and his life on his passion, his conviction that black people deserved a better deal. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
I can respond to that. He told white folk to their face. He consistently did whatever he could to help black people his whole life. Tim Wise, if he was sincere, and he knows that the universities are segregated, right now, today, there's going to be a court case. Dr. Jahi Issa, I know you've heard of him. The one that they beat up at Delaware State for protesting the KKK, right?
Right.
Dr. Jahi Issa's case will be, the jury is deliberating on how much he's to be paid or if he's to be paid at all for racial discrimination. You'll never hear Tim Wise or Elliot take up a cause of a black person that's tangible that they can help right now.
Wow.
And I like what said, but I don't see any actions. What have you risked? If Tim Wise met me and he didn't tell every university, hey, look, Neely Fuller should have a chair at a black school. See, the Howard University, I'll have Tim Wise come in, and as a Howard graduate, Howard tried to throw me out. And Howard ran out Francis Crest Welsing. I got the newspaper article from 1975 from the Howard University Hilltop. I was at Howard. Don't have Tim Wise come in because basically these folks are the Elvis Presleys and Madonnas and Britney Spears of our issue.
Yes.
But they're not the originators. They're just imitators. And that's what I hear you saying. And I just add a little bit in terms of if Tim Wise was sincere, he would go on tour with genuine black activists the same way I know of. There were certain white jazz musicians that would never perform anywhere that the blacks that were the originators couldn't come. If you don't want to hear them, I won't speak to you. I won't play for you. You know, Marilyn Monroe, as crazy as she was, and she's probably mulatto, she forced the white folks to Patrick, you and I grew up with white folks. Most of the white folks I knew, when stuff got hard, they disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
I know very few. There's very few. I do know. I know a white family. They've been working in the black community for 50 years to help black folks. And the woman who's married to the husband, his father fought his white denomination, the Assemblies of God, his whole life to stop being racist. I've seen people who really meant it. They hate this thing. They died if they could kill it. They do it. They don't care who knows about it. People like Wise, it's a career for him. How come people like the guy who wrote Black Capitalism, I'm sorry, what's his name, Allen, there are a range of people. Right, all these people who are saying this stuff, you don't see him with them. You see him going as if he is the apostle. John Brown put his life on the line. And I don't think John Brown was a perfect person, but he wanted to end slavery. He really meant it. He put his children's lives on it.
Yeah, he went to...
If they're not committed on that level, they're actors. They're black actors like John Lewis, and they're white actors like Tim Wise. These people have a career hustle of acting like they're for something and they're not. Were they for it, certain things would be very easily done. Very easily done. And they wouldn't care what the financial loss was. I think I told you, Brother Patrick, about my dentist who was a racist, and my dentist claimed he was blinded by God because he hated black people, and he had to have black people pray for him to regain his eyesight. And once he got through that, he came out and denounced the KKK. He denounced the White Citizens Council. He told folks he wasn't going anywhere that black people weren't welcome. He adopted black kids. He gave money to anything black. He went to jail and provided, and anyone black and poor, he'd do their teeth because he was a dentist, because he didn't want to go to hell. And that the lady told him, black people are God's people, and God's going to kill you if you don't stop messing with them. He got the message. Spent his whole life trying to do right by black people and tell white people he hated racism, he didn't like racists. If you were racist, don't come around me. He gave his multi-million-dollar dental practice in Virginia to a black man and told the white folks, I never knew you if you don't come here and let this black man work on your teeth. I'm not your friend. If he can't do your teeth, I won't do yours anymore.
That's the type. You know, it's sort of like what Dr. Fuller said in the past. Is it destructive or constructive? And from a white racist point of view, or Tim Wise point of view, or even Jane Ellis point of view, what is destructive from their point of view about racism, and what is constructive in their point of view about racism? I think that's a question we should all ask ourselves.
Oh, well, that's a question we should all ask ourselves according to what I have written. But getting back to Mrs. Jane Elliott and Mr. Tim Wise, I just simply say that's codified, and it's not personal. It's business. That applies to any white person on the planet. Any white person that's now in existence. That's why I say we need a code, and that's the part of the code that I follow, and that is, like I said initially in this conversation, I've been so close to Mr. Tim Wise on several occasions where I could reach out and just touch him. But I was talking to everybody around him who was black, and I wasn't really talking to any of the white people, even though they were black people talking to the white people. I wasn't one of them, for the simple reason, it's not that I don't talk to white people, but the only thing I have to say is, just tell me when you've solved the problem. I don't need any white person to sit by me and say, you know what, I I know how you feel. I sympathize with you. I believe in Martin Luther King. And I'm a white man like John Brown. And even if I was talking to John Brown, I wouldn't have anything to say to John Brown. I would just listen to him talk. If I was back during the day of John Brown, I wouldn't say anything at all to Mr. John Brown, other than just call him by his name, that I recognize who he is, and all like that, and take a seat and see what he has to say. And when he finished, just walk away. Because all I would be looking for Mr. John Brown, or Mrs. Jane Elliott, or Mr. Tim Wise, or any other white person on the entire planet in 2019, all I expect them to do is solve the race problem by going among white people and solving it. Because they're the ones who can solve it. Black people, we got all kinds of suggestions about what to do.
Right, but no power to implement it.
The implementation has to be done, all of it, by Mr. Tim Wise and Miss Jane Elliott, talking to me about how much agony I'm going through. May make me feel good, but this is not about feeling good. This is about doing business.
You know, is there any way we can finally come together as black folks from all aspects of us? Or, I mean, do you not see the need for us to come together?
Well, black people, in my opinion, cannot unite with black people. We're too toxic. We carry too much poison. All we do is go at each other. When we try to unite with each other, we need to unite with a code. A code is absolute. There's no guesswork in a code. If we agree to unite with a code of behavior that always works, because that's what a code is, a plumbing code, an electrical code. When you do it, it always works. If an electrical code is up to par, the way it ought to be in a building, when you turn on that light switch is going to turn on. The lights are going to come on. Why? Because it's wired that way. That's why. We don't have anything that's wired, that's absolute. We try to, think that just spirituality will do it, but with no logic. Spirituality has to be connected with logic, meaning 1 and 1 is 2. You can't get anything, even Christian ministers understand that. They say faith without works is just a whole lot of hot air. I think that's the Bible saying. All right. But we forget that second part, work. All right? Meaning that's a code. Anything that works is a code. Like I say, 1 and 1 is 2. For everybody. It doesn't make any difference what color you are, how tall you are, what. I mean, 1 and 1 is 2 for everybody. Water is wet. Fire will burn, regardless of how anybody feels about it. See, feelings are unreliable if they're not attached to logic. But the white supremacists say, the white supremacists are always going to know how black people feel. And black people buy into that. Well, that's how I feel about it. I know it wasn't the right thing to do, but that's how I feel about it. That's why we keep making the same mistakes over and over again. We go according to how feelings lead us. And feelings change every 2 or 3 seconds. They're completely unreliable. Unless what? Unless they are attached to logic. And it's logical for me to just listen to Mr. Tim Wise and what he's doing, or what he says he's doing, or trying to do, and then walk away. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. But as far as, him asking me how I feel and all like that, and he sympathizes with me and how long he's been working and all like that, I just have to quote what my sergeant used to say to me, who was a black sergeant. He's one of the first people to start teaching me logic, all right? Because I very seldom heard anything logical from anybody. White people wouldn't talk to me at all, and black people would talk to me, but they would never use logic when they talked to me. So I had to start discovering logic on my own. But that one black person, the sergeant when I was in Japan, he said, Fuller, he was very logical. It sounded harsh, because logic is harsh sometimes, okay? He said, Fuller, do not keep running in here telling me how hard you've been working. He said, stop doing that. He said, I know all about hard work. You're not announcing anything that's all that phenomenal. He said, we're here in Japan. Go to that window right now and look at that guy out there in that rice paddy. He said, that's hard work. All right? So hard work is universal, Fuller. Wake up and smell the coffee. Lots of people work hard. He said, here's what I want you to tell me when you walk in here. Show me the result. I'm not interested in how hard you've been working. And that made me angry. But when I thought about it, I said, yeah, the only thing that really counts on this planet, period, and white people understand this, is results.
Yes.
I don't care anything about the kumbaya and and the tinkling bells and the jumping up and down and turning flips and jubilee time. No. Did you get the job done?
Yes.
That's all he wanted to know. He said the whole purpose of starting a job is to get it done. Now that gets back to the point that I'm making. That's all I got to say. If I ever said anything, and I never have said anything to Mr. Tim Wise, and that is it over? I just have a question. Is it over? Come back and talk to me when it's over. I don't want to hear anything about how hard you're working. Period. Mr. Wise, out of all due regard.
Well, it's not over, sir. It's not over.
Well, if it's not over, then we have nothing to talk about. I'm up from the table. I'm out of here right now. See, that's what I want from white folks. I don't want anything but the result. Just like that black sergeant used to tell me, Bullock, don't come in here until the job is done. I don't want to hear anything about the difficulty you had doing the job. Difficulty is all over the world. I don't need to keep score on everybody's difficulty. And he was quite harsh with it. And he said, now get the hell out of here and come back when you say the job is done, it's finished. That's what assignments are for. It's not keeping score on how hard you've been working and how much sweat you shed. So, everybody sweats. That's nothing new.
Right.
I don't need to hear that.
You need to hear this is done. This is the
It
result.
made me, and the black people got to learn these formulas. We need formulas,
Yes.
not hot air. We've been living off of hot air ever since white supremacy began. We want results. Anything short of results is you got no argument. You got no discussion. We got nothing to discuss. I'm like the Corleones. I mean, what did Tom Hagen say? Hey, I came here to get something. If I didn't get what I came here for, we got nothing else to talk about. I'm out of here. The Don says you can't get what I came here to get. So what else do we have to discuss? We don't have nothing to discuss. I came here to get a paycheck. You said you ain't got it. I'm out of here. That's all I need to hear. I'm not going to get what I came after. A date and a time. Period. Nothing short of that. Not no all deliberate speed. I don't know what the heck that means. Code is exact. See, we need something that's exact. It's about time black people start thinking in terms of absolutes. That one word. Absolutes. Not no guesswork. Not no, promissory notes. Not no, maybe. That's why they keep having this, as far back as I can remember. It always struck me, too. I mean, because it's sort of like a mantra that applies to black people. This little Sambo character scratching his black head, always with a question mark. Little cartoon. Black person always got question marks and not an answer to nothing. And we have settled for that. We like drama. We have been trained to love drama. A crowd out there in the street making a lot of noise, shooting horns and balloons and flags and all that. And then fall down exhausted from doing it. And then back to square one and saying, well, maybe next year.
That's true.
Decade after decade after decade. That's what we've been doing. Rather than go in like business people and like generals that are worth anything in an army, because we are in a war. You know.
Yes, we are.
When Hitler's on the march, he says, "Hey, now I will meet you one time at the table." And when I get up from that table, when I go to France, I'm gonna either get what I asked for one time, and if you say, well, we'll think about it, we'll negotiate, and no, I ain't negotiating nothing because I'm negotiating now. All right? Now, the next thing you're going to hear from me is bombers flying over this place. Take it or leave it.
That's so true. We don't even know when we're being negotiated.
We got to start thinking in terms of absolutes. Now, that graphic example that I just gave, we don't necessarily be like Hitler,
right.
But I mean, we got to have some kind of codification and stop this hallelujah time over a whole lot of hot air. Oh, this white woman came and she made this great speech, and man, it was this, oh boy, it make it, oh, that's so inspiring. The heck with inspiration if it doesn't turn into something instantly that you can put your hands on.
Yes. Tangibility. How tangible is that?
All I want is the house. I don't want a whole lot of talking about getting the house. All right? And we'll settle for that. Hot air, hot air, hot air, over and over again. As long as the air is hot, we like it. We get drunk off of it.
Wow.
But ain't got after all the hot air, there's no house there to live in. There's no job. There's no money in the bank. But we high on hot air. That's why we are in the drugs so deeply. All right.
That's painful, doctor. That's painful.
But it's the truth. See, pain serves a purpose. Pain is letting you know something is in error. So we're supposed to be in pain. Because our whole existence is in error.
Man. See, that's what people don't want to realize. They don't want to realize these truths.
Yeah, I mean, white people are supposed to hurt our feelings. You know.
You were saying something, Dr. Short?
Well,
Hello?
no, I was just saying that he's on point 100%, and he's correct. We're in pain, but we don't acknowledge why, or we don't want to do anything about the pain.
We got to even get the language straight, meaning RESULTS. Here in 2019, every black person on the planet should say, hey, I don't want to hear any more pretty speeches from anybody. I want RESULTS. That should be on the sign everywhere. Nothing short of that.
And not respect.
Huh?
Not respect, but respect.
I ain't interested in no respect. You can disrespect me all day long as you do what needs to be done. Because respect is just hot air, the way we look at it. Respect is, oh, you said you feel good about me, all right, but I'm still behind bars. That's what we settle for. Did you hear the way that white guy talked to me? He talked to me like I was a king. Hey, Negro, you ain't a king. we're locked up.
Yep. Yep.
You don't want no more rallies talking about we great kings and queens. We're locked up. The heck with that junk. No more of that. Not one more word about that. I don't care about we built the pyramids 10 million years ago. But the white supremacists certainly don't care. Oh, you niggas built the pyramid? That's all right. You know, hey, that's all y'all want? Is to acknowledge that you built the pyramids? And they wink at each other. Yeah, nigga, you built the pyramids. Yeah. That make you feel good?
Funny,
now get the hell out of my face and get back in that ditch with your pyramid builder.
Yeah. And this is what I was saying yesterday, Patrick, about these Negroes saying everybody's got to be a Moor. I got to wear the circus monkey hat in order for something to happen. And I folk have been wearing that circus monkey hat 100 years. And no result. So why do I have to go with it now? I don't buy that.
Well, you can just look at the evidence. Always go by the evidence. Lots of people wear different type of clothing all over the place. Wear, sandals made in Kemet and all that. But the white supremacists come around and you say, I don't care what you're wearing. You're still a nigga,
Exactly. This is my point when I was asked about
cloth. Yeah, nigga, I'm looking at your kente cloth. I'm looking at your new hairdo. I'm looking at your dreadlocks. But you will do what I say do. I don't care what you look like, because you look like a nigga to me.
Yeah. So you got your circus monkey hat on, and you think, because you have a circus monkey hat on, you're better than the other black people that don't have a circus monkey hat on. And it's just like being in the little storefront sanctified church where the folks think they're the only ones saved and they can't afford the light bill. They got to listen to the reverb. The church is so small. When they have the choir sing, everybody gets up to sing, and they have to try to catch the echo to hear how they sounded. And they're the only ones saved. You go to church that's got 50 names in the title. There are more syllables in the name of the church than there are members. This desire to be great, but not work to get great results.
Right. It's a form of self-delusion and lying. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're much worse off than we think we are here in 2019. We shouldn't even be having anything close to this type of conversation in 2019.
You're so right.
We are absolutely in the primitive stage like we just started out. But it doesn't seem that way on account of all of those toys that we have to play with. The phones and transportation and whatnot. Well, hey, white women now, I mean, they dress up their dogs with $1 million clothes and all like that, but it's still a dog.
Right. And we don't see that dog is treated.
That's how they see us. That's how the white supremacists see us. Prima donna dogs, animals, monkeys, apes. That's what they call Miss President, First Lady, Michelle Obama, an ape in heels. Doesn't make any difference what we put on and all like that, how much so-called education we got. Hey, what do you call a nigger with 15 PhDs? A nigger.
A nigger.
This is so depressingly sad that it has the effect of jolting a person who sincerely listens.
It's supposed to. Truth is always jolting when it needs to be. But it jolts you into reality, and reality is the only thing in the world that counts.
Man. So what about, like, all the first, because back in the '60s, I was born in '72, so a little bit before my time. We had so many firsts. We had the first black man to be an astronaut, Major Lawrence Jr.
Yes.
And, you know, we, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is that the one,
We need
is that
to
the one
stop
that they
that.
killed?
Yes.
Yeah, the
That was
first.
Dr. Francis Wilson's brother-in-law.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was a
They
major,
killed them. Yeah.
a test pilot,
Yes.
a super. I have
Yeah,
a lot of
right.
respect for military personnel.
First person, to reach the North Pole and all like that. That means absolutely nothing to the white supremacists.
Exactly, Doctor.
The white supremacists believe in one thing. When I walk up to a black person, do I have a blank check to do what I want to with that black person? Now, if the answer is yes, that's all they want to hear. They don't want to hear nothing about how smart you are and who you know and what your connections are. I am a white man, and I always tell a black person what to do, and that black person better do it. Do I have that privilege? Do I have that kind of power? And if the answer is yes, they don't want to hear nothing else. Because that's all they need to hear. That's all anybody would need to hear about anything. When you got a whole category of people that you can tell what to do and they better do it. Now, it doesn't get no better than that.
That's why, like I said, to the average racist, white supremacist, those two thoughts. Would ending racist be constructive for his lifestyle or destructive for his lifestyle? And the
That's
answer
it.
to that is it all.
Yeah. That's all they want to know. Nigga, can you serve me? If you can't, we don't have nothing to discuss. Will you do what I want to do when I want to do it? I don't want to know nothing about you other than that. And you all can't get that through your thick skulls. That's how we have always been. That's why we're successful. We have absolutes. Here comes the black guy. Here comes the black female. How can she serve me, and I don't do nothing for her, but give her a terrible name, or give him a terrible name. That's what I want. If I can't get what I want, what's the point in being in existence? And so far they have kept that philosophy, and it is the most powerful philosophy that anybody ever dreamed of in the history of the world. One thing is focus. It's focused just like a laser. Black people, our minds are all over the place. But a white person don't lose focus. That's why you have such a thing as white supremacy. The evidence proves it.
Wow. So true. So powerful.
Yeah, they say, hey, a white person says, even if I'm drunk on a park bench, I'm still more powerful and better than you with everything that you ever accumulated. I don't care what kind of nigga you are. You're still a nigga.
We get that through our minds. Don't care.
Yes, once we understand that, then we understand the white supremacist philosophy and their mentality. And there's no philosophy or no religion or no nothing more powerful than that concept called white supremacy. Because it is proven over and over again with nothing else. No religion has proven itself.
Wow.
There's no religion more powerful than the religion of white supremacy. None.
There it is.
And proof of it is when white people show up, I don't care how many dark people got how many religions. It seems like by some kind of magic, the white person says, hey, I'm here now. Your religion and everything that you believe in, it comes in second place for me.
Right.
And they prove it. There ain't no place on this planet where they haven't proven it.
So true. If you think he's lying, folks.
You got all these dark-skinned people walking around with robes on and all like this and living in palaces. The white supremacist says you ain't gonna even have a shoes on your feet if I decided by 5 o'clock this evening. Because I'll blow this place off the map, all right? All of its millions of years of history will be gone I'm talking about all them so-called sheiks and whatnot with them dark skins. Anybody with dark skin, hey, white person coming in there with his blonde hair and blue eyes, that's all he's got. And a white skin. He ain't got nothing. But he says, hey, you ain't nothing compared to me. I don't care how long you've been saying that you are a kingdom over all these females here. All these females that you call yours will be mine if I want them. And they prove it every time they go anywhere.
So, is it a matter of the strength of group unity concept?
No, you got the black people are too weak-minded to unite with each other. We fight each other.
No,
Truth be told, we're loaded with poison, so that won't work.
No, I'm
the trap.
pertaining to the white races. Is that's the secret of their strength, their group unity?
No, the secret of their group, yes, their strength is their group unity. But what have they united around?
Just a
principle.
They have united around a white code. See, certain things white people will not do, even when they're alone. See, we don't understand that. We think we got to have a whole lot of black people with us, walking down the street arm in arm, in order to even breathe. When one white person can appear on an island with nothing but black people, and by 5 o'clock that evening having all of them eaten out of his hand, how does that happen? That is not magic. That's a code that he has, a white code. That's all he came with. Meaning, now what is a white code? If you're a white man, you don't say this, you say that. You don't do this, you do that. Code is all about things that you do, things that you don't do under any circumstance, and things that you say, and things that you don't say under any circumstance. We don't have nothing that compares with that.
Wow.
And that's the key. If we adapt a code, white supremacists will be in trouble overnight. Overnight. I'm talking about 24 hours. Worldwide. And they know that. But we don't have anything resembling a code.
No. Dysfunctions, never.
We just think that clapping our hands and jumping up and down is a code. That's clapping your hands and jumping up and down. That's all that is.
What you're saying, Doctor.
We think that a hairdo is a code for, everything. If I strut down the street with my afro, all right, or my dreadlocks, magic will happen. Yeah, some magic gonna happen, all right. You're gonna wind up, getting shot down, if anything.
Or locked up.
Or locked up. That's all that means. That's all you're gonna get out of that. Ain't nobody gonna give you no bonuses out of that. But we try hard thinking that will work.
Yes. Because we've been lied to, Doctor. We think that if I become a rapper or if I become some sort of a dancer or some sort of gangster, I'm somehow going to economically make it. And it doesn't really work that way just because I do those things.
You don't have to have a whole counter-racist code because a white person, by the time they're 15 years old, they know the white code without anybody even telling them because they pick it up by osmosis. Osmosis meaning just by watching other white people and how they interact with black people. See, they got a code. They got an exact code, even when they don't look like they have one. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the shape that they're in. They wouldn't have the power that they have. That's got to be a code. White people don't wake up in the morning and just do anything in a kind of old way. They got a certain way of going about doing everything when it comes to black people. That's why we're in the shape that we're in, and they're in the shape that they're in. That's not by accident. That's a code working.
And this pain and suffering is the result of the code being implemented perfectively.
The white supremacists don't do nothing that's not going to work against non-white people and in their favor. Period. even when it doesn't look like that's what they're doing.
Wow. You was gonna say something?
The evidence, see, this is not Neely Fuller talking. The evidence shows this. And not just evidence on 1 or 2 mornings. I mean, this is consistent. Nothing is consistent unless it's codified. If they was just waking up every morning, every white person that's doing anything, any kind of way, it would be no such thing as white supremacy.
Right.
They got an exact way of handling black people. Exact. I mean, like precision work, like brain surgery. It's just that exact. If it wasn't that exact, it would be sloppy work, and all sloppy work falls apart on its own.
Yes. Yes, it does.
You work on your car and do a sloppy job, that car's going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be walking. You will be walking. So, is that what's happening to us?
See, we don't understand what we're up against. All right. We're up against the most powerful political and religious philosophy ever thought up by people.
Hey, Liliana, how are you? Okay. You want me to throw that out? I can put that out. La basura?
Yeah.
Yo voy a fuera. No. I got that. I'll take it out for you. No se preocupe. La basura.
So,
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to have to go now.
I appreciate it, Dr. Fuller.
All right, but like I said, in answer to your initial question, I can probably, if you got an FM radio program, I can go on it if you run it through producejustice.com, but not with Miss Jane Elliott, because all I would do on the program, I'll tell you this, because it's the truth, it's a part of the code. I would just listen to what she has to say, but I will have no comment one way or another. Because when I talk to white
I have a
people...
question.
Yes, sir.
I'm here in D.C. I work with a group called Good Ground, Good Life. We're going to be working with young black men and maybe some young black women. And I'm wondering, do you speak with youth groups or people? Is there a way to have you speak? Is there an honorarium? How do we do that? Literally, I started my day off talking to a friend of mine that's a multimillionaire doctor, and everything he has is being taken away because he doesn't understand white supremacy. He's from Africa, and I warned him over 20 years ago he was going to have everything that he had taken away. Once he became successful, if he didn't learn to understand what racism was, everything he had would get taken from him. And he was patient, he heard me, but now it's happening. And he, as busy as he is, he took an hour out to talk to me because he can't process. Even I told him, this is a problem, sir. I tried to tell you. They want $8 million, and pretty soon they'll want $16 million from him for no reason at all. Well, for a reason, because he has something that they don't have, and they want it. And on the other hand, I had gotten him one of the best attorneys in the country, but they couldn't work with him because he's black and assertive. And now everything's being at risk. So I asked him, brother, I can help you, but will you put some resources on me and a team of people? We don't want what you paid the lawyers. The question is will he be able to give? The fact I have to ask the question shows that we have a problem. Are you seeing or hearing what I'm saying? Brother Fuller, Bill Cosby is my cousin. We tried to help him. He was surrounded by coons. And so everything that happened to him, I told his publicist in October 17, I literally, some people claim I have a prophetic gift. A lot of people say so. Weaver thinks I got it. Where I can sit down and talk to someone about this future. And it falls exactly like I told them about it. It's not like I'm a well-to-do, a powerful person, but I explained to Mr. Cosby's main advisor he'd be convicted within 4 days of the birth of Adolf Hitler in April 2018. His trial would start within 4 days of the assassination of Martin Luther King. And between those dates, he'd be attacked by a Me Too woman on his way to the court. I told him this October 12th, 2017. Remember the one with the titties showing, with the markings on her body? Well, do you realize that fool has never called me? Now, how do I call three things in advance? Oh, okay. So the nearest está la porta. Okay. And it's very, very sad because I see people being destroyed. And I have warned Cosby. Says, you know, they killed your other cousin, our cousin. They killed Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe didn't really understand white supremacy. And they gave him that AIDS, and they killed him. I said, Cosby, you next. If you don't change how you're fighting, they will get you. But, you know, Cosby thinks he made it. He's beginning to learn, but, okay. Hasta la vista. Okay. All right. So until this changes, until some of our folks acknowledge what you're saying, that they're up against this leviathan of hate and apartheid and genocide, and it will require that people give almost like a religious faith with principles. The very thing that you say, Dr. Fuller, that's what I say to Patrick. Black folks must have their own laws and principles that we conform to, and we punish people if they break them. This is the other thing about white people blacks don't get. I grew up with white folks. If they said don't speak to niggas, even the most respected white person, if they broke the code, they were out. I had neighbors who decided not to hate our guts, and everybody white turned on them. They hated them. They turned on them. I mean this completely. And you understand what I'm saying. They completely turned against them, and they even went after the children of the people who broke the code. They went after the kids, and even after they changed the code, once they realized they couldn't run us out of the neighborhood, they stubbornly acknowledged that they couldn't run us out, but they never forgave the white people who broke ranks. The nigger lovers, that's the word nobody likes to talk about, nigger lover. You a nigger lover, I've seen it. They'll beat a white kid worse than a black. Worse.
For the love of a nigger.
And I heard someone say, yes, not only that, what you're doing is going to give everything to them. That's a quote. You'll lose everything. I had a white father tell his son, we will have nothing if you keep doing what you're doing. He equated this boy just talking to me as a white loss of control. Any courtesy to the black can be turned upside down. White folk will be on the out. Black folk have to be kept down. Black folk have to be hated. And that's just the way it is. And that man was beating his son for speaking to me with an eye shot of his father's house. That boy became a racist after the father beat him. And I don't mean he just beat him. I heard him throwing the boy off the wall. And he did that boy was going to hate. But when his father said hate. When his father said hate. He didn't raise nigga up. He wasn't going to stand for it. You don't have an opinion. And I've seen it. I grew up with the white friends. They're nice. And all of a sudden the parents start saying to them, I told you, get away from me. And yes, they're nice, but when they grow up, they'll be bad. It's, you know, black people are a lot like raccoons. Raccoons are really nice and cute when they're small. But when they get big, they become dangerous. They're untamable. They're untrainable. They have rabies. They'll destroy. That's black folks are like that. So get it out of your system. Yes, nice. There was a black person was nice until they get to a certain age. When they get old enough, they're going to want to screw your mom and their sisters, steal your stuff. So, do you want your mom to get raped by the kid you play with? Do you want your sister to get raped by? No, Daddy. Okay. You got to protect them now before it happens. at Howard. The biggest problem they had, one of the biggest problems for suicide at Howard was a large number of black folks were raised in white environments by parents that wouldn't talk about race or justice or anything. When they got to Howard and learned about racism, a lot of folks wanted to kill themselves or couldn't process reality. Black parents cripple, mutilate their children psychologically and emotionally, and it's done. The church, everything mutilates black awareness. The church does it. Islam does it. I don't care if folks think Farrakhan's doing a perfect job. He's not. I don't hate Farrakhan. I happen to like Farrakhan more often than dislike. But even they have a white-looking person that's their God.
Well, white supremacy.
Am I lying?
No,
have I picked on anybody? Okay, I didn't say they had poison bean pies. I didn't say Farrakhan kissed white people behind. But their God is white. Their God is white. Their God is white. Their prophet is white. Show me a person in the Nation of Islam as dark as Wesley Snipes. Or let me quote my God brother who quit the Nation of Islam because he was told, nobody your color has risen so high. Why are you unhappy?
Wow.
You should be grateful. In other words, you black and ugly. He lifted you up. See how they helped bump off Khalid Muhammad? Wasn't Khalid Muhammad dark skinned? See how quick the nation got rid of him?
Yeah.
See how Farrakhan's children are marrying white people and Hispanics? I'm not messing. I'm just saying, look at that. You'll never see a person typically representing the Nation of Islam on a high supranational level that gets the top. That's too dark. It's always Cafe Au Lait. Always. I'm not picking the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're from the same family. I understand. Okay, when I called the church the other day, I was talking to my partner here about Bishop Kelsey here at New Samaritan Church. You heard of it, Dr. Fuller. That's another branch of my family. The Kelseys have blue eyes and green eyes and hazel eyes. Okay. It comes from slavery down in Sandersville, Georgia, where the pools are from. And so there's a whole color thing in there. And even Malcolm X, I love Malcolm X. But for you to tell me the bluest of eye, we all prayed together, no disrespect, I love Malcolm X. I don't need to be with white Arabs. I'll deal with, I'll do business with, I'll strategically work with. But everybody started liking Malcolm when Malcolm began to tout. We could all just get along. That did not keep people from killing him. If the Muslims, international Muslims that Malcolm X went to cared about him, his family should have been starving and hungry in New York before they killed him. He should have been well taken care of. Malcolm X did more to get black folks to conform to this Arabization project that's never been good for black people than anyone. That's my issue with Malcolm. All the other stuff he said about the white man is true. I agree with him. I love him. But it took us to another group of slave holders. From one group of slave holders to another. And people will run around, my name is Ali, and they don't even know Ali was a slave dealer at the time with Muhammad. So I got a Muhammad Ali t-shirt on streaming. You hear me?
Yeah, you was getting muffled. But you're fine.
Yeah, that's because we started talking about that. Ali was a slave trader. All these black folks running around Ali, and Ali sold black people.
Wow.
If we can talk about the good ship Jesus that brought slaves here, that's clearly wrong. Then we can also talk about slavery in Islam and slavery in Hinduism. And even the bombing that took place in Sri Lanka, they won't tell you this. The Muslims in Sri Lanka tend to be darker Sri Lankans.
Yep.
A lot of them have African roots. African roots. These folks have gone to Islam because they're rejected and they're outcast by the Sinhala and by the Hindu and by the Christian ones. They will never tell you that.
Nope.
And a lot of Sri Lankans, as dark as we are, you'll almost never see them in the news or television. It's almost like, I learned this. I worked in news. If the crowd was too black, they didn't run that footage on air, except if it was something negative. When O.J. Simpson got acquitted, they specifically, I was there. I was in the room when they sent the team to Howard University. They didn't go to any white school to see how white people responded to the O.J. Simpson thing. They only wanted a black crowd scene to inflame white folks. You get where I'm coming from?
Right.
If there's something good and it's a bunch of black people, they won't show it unless there's some white people there. Or there's got to be a white news tag or something that someone... It's like Hollywood. They can't do a story without a white hero. Imagine if we did a movie on the Ku Klux Klan and Hollywood would demand that one of the Klansmen had a heart for black people and was running an orphanage. They would find some way to make a white person. It's the same thing with Black Panther. They make the white CIA agent.
Yes.
He's the hero. That's disgusting. And so, and that's why we called it Whack Panther. In fact, we got to do a show on that. I can't wait to dog Black Panther. Oh, Jesus. And you should see all the same black folks who want feeling, no logic, no results, like you said. So, anyway, I know you've got to go, and I've got to get busy.
Yes.
Is it cooler in here? No, 81 degrees.
Well, I appreciate the chat, guys.
Yeah.
I really do. Gave me a lot to think about. A whole lot to think about. And more importantly,
Before the sleep, we talked before. I hope we are able to be in touch again. We're going to be doing some things, and I know I'm interested in results. I'm very much interested in results. And I may not know how to get them, but I want them. I want some results. And I think that I'm here in D.C., you're here in D.C. Within reason, we might be able to meet periodically. Not trying to get a heavy commitment. A lot of my mentors and other people are dying rapidly. Folks, you're getting up out of here, ancestalizing. And so those who are ahead of me, while I can get a little bit of wisdom, I want it.
I think he may already be gone.
More? Okay, so Patrick, let me let you go, brother.
All right, brother, I appreciate
But
it.
thanks for doing it, man.
Hey, everybody, thank you for watching the video. This is True Power is Mine. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, without envy, and or greed. Peace. Also, support me on Patreon. Patreon /join/ True Power is Mine. I'm out of here.